Hey y'all, this is part one of my journal flip through, so I will link part two down in the description below. Hey y'all, I'm back with a real-time video. I'm going to be flipping through this journal that I started back in April. It is complete. I had somebody ask if I could do a slower version of my reel that I posted on Instagram, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I will talk about a couple of products and stuff that I use, but I'm not going to go into super long detail on some of these pages just because I don't want the video to be super long. So I created this journal just kind of as a starting place to get back into my creativity. Back in April was when I really returned back to my craft room and really got back into the swing of things after having another baby. And so this was just kind of a starting point, and I love the way it turned out. There are some pages I don't love, and I'll talk about those. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this was also, if you're the type that really likes like straight lines and very organized scrapbooking, this is not that. This is very just like throw stuff on a page, write it down, just have fun with it, don't think too much. So this was kind of the process behind this journal, or the thought behind it. So first page, I didn't put a whole lot. I just wanted to kind of make it fun and pretty, and so I just added a little bit of stamping in the background and then a little cluster on top. I had already created this little cluster embellishment, and then I love these little dictionary packages. They look like this. I'll kind of show you. I'll link them on my down below, just because I do have like a whole bunch of them, and I'm not going to go through all of them and show you, but I like kind of tearing them and using them in the background of stuff, but I also like using them for their actual like the word. So I love that I chose hobby for this day. I used a date stamp here and then a little bit of embellishing with some ephemera. This ephemera, the pink ephemera, is from Citrus Twist Kits. This one I wrote more. I talked a little bit about how I was feeling that day. Talked about that we forgot to do our prayer time, and I also feel like when we don't do our prayer time that it impacts your day. And then I use another little dictionary word here, and then just some fun stuff from my stash. Also, we'll write what we ate for dinner a lot, or lunch, and also write little things that my kids did too. So this page is not my favorite at all. I did not love it. It was kind of like one of those that I was kind of done with it and didn't really care to mess with it anymore. But it was Easter. I used a date stamp here. I did a little bit of just writing, and then I went with just like a purple theme because I love this little purple background little card that I used. This is when we're getting ready for Disney. I just used some washi tape up here, a couple stickers, and then I used my Crayola Super Tip markers. This was the 19th of April. Talked about my mood. I won't do that every single time, but I put that I was mostly excited mixed with a little bit of anxiety. I know I was taking my older daughter and leaving my two young ones behind, and so that was kind of hard. And then I just talked about going to Dallas, driving to Dallas, and getting ready to take off the next day. This was a pretty simple page. This is when I kind of started using the little text words in place of like writing, and so I love that. I'll do like check boxes a lot in these just to kind of make it more simple or simplified journaling, so I'm not having to write paragraphs every time. I did a couple little clusters up here too, or up here and down here. So this was our first day at Disney. We went to Animal Kingdom. Actually, I think the 20th was the first day, but then Animal Kingdom was our first park. Just wrote about that. When I want to really highlight something, I'll either write it big, or I'll do something like this where I'll put some letters with something in the background. So I love that, and I used a date stamp for this one. I used a stencil for this one just to kind of capture different things that we did at Hollywood Studios, and I really love that. This is actually like book text that I cut up and used, and so that's a really fun thing to do if you have like old books, especially picture books, because it's like there's a lot of color in those. You can like tear them out and then cut up words that you think you might use and just put them in a drawer for later. This was Epcot. I put all the different countries and what we ate, also what we rode. Oh my gosh, this was fun. Ratatouille, and then we rode Soarin', which was super fun. I know we rode a couple of other things too, but we had a lot of fun at Epcot. Magic Kingdom just wrote, so this was kind of just a random, like all over the place page. I wrote Fireworks Parade, Haunted Mansion. I wrote this was a bad idea with the kids, with the little kids, my sister's daughters. My daughter liked it. My sister's kids did not like that. We also went to Be Our Guest for dinner, and I wrote that my daughter wore her bell dress there. This is when we came back to town, back to Texas. Wrote about the Orlando airport. I'm sorry if I'm going to offend anyone who lives in Orlando, but the airport was awful. Awful. Dallas Love Field was a lot better. And so I wrote a little bit about that, just kind of coming back with a little tag here and then some words. These are just I titled it differently here just to change it up. This was really about like experimenting and seeing the type of journaling I like to do. And so I had a lot of fun with this. I used a little interactive page here and then did some washi and some little torn papers down here. Also, I use Tombow brush pens a lot, and I use this Tombow brush pen too, and then this zebra brush pen. So these are some of my favorite pens that I use. I did just purchase these Amazon brush pens that are they're a little bit like the Tombow brush, but they're not quite as flexible. The tip is a little bit less flexible than the Tombow ones. So, but I do use a lot of the times when you see like brush lettering and it's colorful, it's probably either a Crayola Super Tip or it's a Tombow brush pen. This was simple. I went with kind of a green theme. I did my date with some of my stickers, and then I talked about my son being super sweet. My little son, well, both of them are, but my youngest son, just different things that he's doing as a baby. So here's another checklist. This I did not add. You'll see I didn't add any like ephemera, or like I didn't really scrapbook this page. I really just kept it simple. Also talked about downloading the Hollow app to do Mark Wahlberg's Rosary, or to listen to it, which I've been really loving. I did a little bit more of a scrapbooky page here. I cut out these little flowers and added a little printable paper in the background, some washi on the edge, and then just did some simple journaling there. No lettering on this one. I just put, this was kind of just a little fun message. I just put that there's something about Saturday mornings that I love. Maybe it's the coffee or it's just being at home with the kids. And I said I made sure to take a nap, which I do often on Saturdays, especially. In the summer I take naps too, but on Saturdays and Sundays I do. I did not add anything extra, just did more of a journaling. And I also wanted to experiment with different colors. I'm not an orange person, but I did start to use just like random colors just so I could, you know, I guess like step outside my comfort zone. So now we're into May. This was May 1st. This is May 2nd. I didn't love this page, but I kept it anyway. It's one of those things that I just should have stopped while I was ahead, and I didn't. But a lot of times I'll write the initials of my kids, or I'll write their name a little bigger so that I can highlight that I'm talking about them. Here's where I used a Tombow brush pen, like the black one, the smaller one, this one. I'll link those down below too. And then added a little bit of, I had stamped these out in a different video, and I think it was a reel actually, and I stamped them on some craft paper, and then I did use the die cut to cut them out, and then just tore some paper to put on the side. And you'll see that I do this kind of thing a lot. Let's see. Trying to think if there's anything like special I did on this page. Not really. I just did a little ephemera in the center, and then talked about one of my sons, or actually both of my sons. So there's that. I did the little stencil on this one again. Just put, this was really kind of a messy page. I think I did a little bit of watercoloring on this. I made like a card with some flower, like watercolor florals, just a simple card, and then I think I cut it up and used it as the background there. I really started to love this shadow, I think, here. So you'll see I do that a lot. This was May 6th. Is this May 6th? Yeah. So there's that. I just did a simple little, some papers in the background, dictionary paper, and then wrote that it was Friday the 6th there. Did not add anything extra, just did some lettering, and I did everybody in my family. So David, my husband, me, my daughter, my middle son, my youngest son, and just kind of wrote the things that we did that day. This was Sunday, Mother's Day. Just kept it really simple. Did a checklist on that one. Did a little cluster here, used one of my DIY embellishments, and then wrote, yeah, I'm telling you guys, I'm loving to shadow here. You'll see my phases of things I go through. This was one of my favorite pages. It was super random. I added a little bit of watercoloring with some cheap little watercolors, and then I added, so those were florals, and I added some pen, I guess speckles in the center. Pen is what I was trying. Speckles in the center with a pen so that I can kind of make it look finished. I started to write Thursday and realized it wasn't Thursday, and so I went over it with Tuesday, and you can't even tell. And just wrote some different things there. I love the different lettering. So I'll write normal, like how I normally would write, and then I'll add some lettering in the center, and I've loved doing that. This was just kind of trying something different. I didn't love this page, but it turned out, it was okay. I just didn't love it. Talked about the kids star testing. Not my kids, they're too young, but the kids I work with. And then talked about some of my kids, what we had for dinner, that kind of thing. Okay, so that is the end of part 1. I will link part 2 down below. I will see you guys very soon. Bye.